My name is Johanna Moore, and I am the founder of She Is Money, and we are here with my good friend, Dr. Jeannie Lawrence. She is an amazing psychiatrist, and she is here to talk to us about self-work for physicians. So Jeannie, tell us about yourself and your practice right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Joanna, for having me. Thanks so much for this opportunity really to chat with you. It's been fun already, and I'm looking forward to all that we get into today. So I'm Jeannie Lawrence. I'm a board certified psychiatrist. I'm also a therapist, and I founded Self-Work for Physicians. And self-work is really a way to improve our emotional well-being and to increase our ability to chase down our dreams. Part of my motivation for bringing self-work to physicians was just noticing and recognizing the amount of suffering in the physician community in many forms. There's burnout and depression and anxiety and unacceptably high rates of suicide. And I think all of those things have really been highlighted in the past year by COVID, and then all the many changes that we're facing in medicine and healthcare. And to add to the complexity of the problem is the fact that physicians don't often have very easy access to support and care around their emotional and mental health. There's so much stigma, and there are so many very valid concerns about disclosure. There are, practices by the medical licensing boards that sometimes even threaten our licenses and our ability to continue practicing medicine when a physician chooses to seek some kind of support around their mental and emotional health. And so I really just wanted to find a way to increase access to support and help around our mental health. When we have this combination of needing help because of the rigors of our jobs and just being human beings, and then not having easy access, it leads to a place where we can feel trapped and disempowered and hopeless. And hopelessness is a risk factor for suicide. So it's a problem that needs a lot of attention. And I think the solution is a big one. I mean, there needs to be reform in many different ways, right? In the healthcare system and the hospital systems that we work in, and the conditions in which a lot of physicians are working, the practices of the licensing boards and the questions that they ask on applications, all of those things need to change. But I like to focus on what we can do right now. And what we can do right now is work on healing ourselves. And I think when we are feeling well emotionally, not only are we showing up better for our patients, but we're enjoying our lives a lot more. I think doctors are humans before we become doctors, and so we all need that bit of our own, share of happiness and inner peace. And so self-work is about accessing that happiness and peace so that we can feel well, and so that we're freed up to pursue our higher level dreams. So that's kind of where it all started in a nutshell, and what it's about.
So self-work. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah. So I came up with the idea and the term when I was training as a therapist. Training as a therapist is a process, and there's the didactic part of it and the clinical part of it, where you're learning the skills and the methods, and then you're practicing with real clients or patients. But there's a third component too called personal work or self-work, where after you understand some of the psychology behind the methods that we use in therapy to help people that are suffering, whether it's from depression, anxiety, or something else, it is using those same skills and applying them to your own daily struggles. We're, again, all human beings. We all have our ups and downs, and we all can benefit from taking a step back and understanding how our minds work, understanding how our thoughts and feelings create our reality, and having the skill set to kind of modulate those thoughts and feelings so that we feel as well as possible, and again, can show up as best as we can. So it's not really limited to using psychology and using therapy skills is not limited to people that are suffering from like a diagnosed mental illness or anything like that. But I say that anybody with a mind or a brain and that suffers sometimes, that feels anxious sometimes, or feels worried or afraid sometimes, or feels stressed sometimes, or frustrated or whatever, and we all experience that, can benefit from being able to feel better, being able to access that bit of peace of mind. And so it's really teaching those skills. It's supporting my colleagues as we learn how to use those skills so that they can heal, feel better, and, go on to chase down their big dreams. So
I just think that that's such an amazing idea, because especially since your major base is physicians, I think, at least in my experience, many women physicians, especially mom physicians, especially, we feel like we have to have this facade that we're unbreakable. But at the same time, we have so much stress
yes.
and so many responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I deal with this with a lot of my clients, and She Is Money is, you have work, you're trying to make partner, you're trying to help your patients. You can't cry in front of your patients.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go home and you have your kids and your husband and your parents maybe. And, everybody has their own life story outside of work and inside of work. And I feel like when we were training, it was like you had to show no fear. Like if you're on a rotation as a medical student and you don't know the answer, well, you better not tell anybody that you don't know that answer, because it was so cutthroat. And I think it's so great that you're letting people know that, hey, like, you learned a lot of this stuff already. Let me re-explain to you like the theory behind it, and let's apply it to your own life so that you get some benefit out of it and make it real. And that is just so cool. And I bet it was just really interesting and life-changing when you were going through that, when you and your fellow residents were kind of learning, okay, so now, like, how am I doing?
Yeah. I love everything that you said. And I'm focused, not just on physicians, but women physicians in particular, for all the reasons that you mentioned. There's being a woman in medicine, and then there's just being a woman in general. And there's this intersection that's really tough to navigate sometimes, between all the different hats that women wear, from, mom and wife or partner and caregiver and, leader and et cetera. And so I've been really interested in, again, encouraging women and women physicians to be okay with talking about their feelings and, working on feeling better, so that, and it's not just about showing up better for everybody else, but it's about showing up, well for ourselves first. When I started kind of coming up with this idea, I was going through a period where, medicine wasn't very satisfying for me anymore. I felt like I wasn't doing the kind of work that I had set out to do, not helping as much as I wanted to. And I started to feel kind of burned out and kind of trapped in this job. And self-work is something that really helped me recognize that I did have some power in the situation, and that I didn't have to go to work every day, dreading it or upset, that I could kind of leverage the power of my mind to feel better while I was there. And once I had done that, then I kind of had the wherewithal and the strength to make changes to my career, to where now I'm very happy in medicine. And I've made adjustments to where I'm practicing on my own terms and enjoying it a lot more, and freeing up time to do this passion of mine, which is helping other women physicians through this. So
Oh, that is so great. I think, something that we focus on a lot at She Is Money is what is your dream life like and what are your goals like? And and it's ever changing and evolving. And I think it's easy to think, okay, so I made it now. I'm a physician and I'm doing my job and it kind of sucks. And then you kind of need to reevaluate. Well, maybe you made your goals and you need to kind of reevaluate what your dream life is supposed to be like. And it's an evolution.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you said that. I think an ambitious woman can, relate to the sense of like putting your head down and thinking that you're going towards a goal that's gonna, really make you happy, and then getting there and realizing, maybe this isn't what what I thought it was gonna be. So I love that help people focus on like what their real dream is, and clarifying that, because we can really get into that rat race and be working towards something and then in the end not being satisfied with it, which is not a very not a very good place to
It's
be.
a terrible place to be in. Well,
Yeah.
I am so excited to learn more about your process and how you are helping other wonderful, amazing people. And so, how can we find you if we want to learn a little bit more?
Yeah. So right now I am working one-on-one with any women physicians who are feeling, again, any gamut of emotional distress and want some help with that. If you're feeling down or discouraged or anxious, frustrated, and are just ready to kind of get to a place where you're feeling well, so you can get back to enjoying your life, then I'm working, taking applications to work one-on-one. You can find me at my website, which I'll link below, and just send me a message and I'll be happy to set up a call with you and see how we might work together.
That is awesome. I'm so excited. I know the way that I started initially communicating with you when we began collaborating, I just would, DM you.
Yeah.
That seemed to be pretty just fine.
Yeah.
So her website, At Home with Dr. Jeannie, has some great blog posts. If anybody's interested in learning a little bit more, she's very research based. So a lot of her blogs, they have actual data behind them. So that's great. And I think your YouTube channel is Dr. Jeannie MD, correct?
Yep.
So find her
And there's
there.
a bit of my story and more information coming. Yeah, more videos.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, thank you so much. This was so great. I had a great time talking to you.
Same here. Thanks so much, Joanna.
Okay.
Awesome. So